Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here.
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
Today is a very special episode of Up From the Underground because of the movie that we will be discussing today. Yes, I know, this movie did come out last year, but it is still playing in theaters in 2020, and that of course is the Best Picture of 2019, Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. So, a little bit of a background from me. If you watched my Oscar snubs video, you probably realized that I didn't even talk about Parasite. And it was not because I had anything for or against the film. It's because of the fact that I didn't even know about this movie in regards to what it was, where it was playing, because it definitely wasn't playing anywhere near me, and more importantly, when I started to try and ask people what this movie was about, no one could even describe it. And then the Oscars came, and it was the very first non-English speaking film to win the Best Picture of the year. So, knowing that I had no chances of seeing it before the Oscars made me very upset, but then when I found out that it was still playing in one of the theaters that I do frequent too, when it comes to seeing these kinds of films, I just said to myself, I am going to buy myself a ticket and I am going to see what this movie is about. And I am so glad that I did go to see this movie because this was a fantastic movie. The best way that I can describe this film is basically about have and have-nots and the importance of family. That's the best way that I can describe it because those are the two messages that I actually gained from this film. It's the story of the Kim family who lives in a very low-income area of South Korea. And all of a sudden, the son's friend gives him an opportunity to tutor a girl in English while he goes to study abroad. This girl comes from a very wealthy household, and they are willing to pay for the sake of their kids' successes. So when the son actually does go to meet this family and see this daughter, he also sees other opportunities for the rest of his family to take the opportunity to find jobs for this family and make money for themselves. So basically, it is a story of this family doing a major con scheme for the sake of giving themselves more money and somewhat of a better life. But all of that changes when a major twist happens, and then their world is just turned completely upside down, and they have no idea whether they should continue doing what they're doing, or how the hell are they gonna get out of this situation. So, this movie was so interesting. I didn't know whether I was going to see a drama, or a horror movie, or a comedy, but I will definitely say that all of those elements are sprinkled throughout this film to a degree. This film is very well acted. This film is beautiful to look at. This film also has a fantastic score by a composer named Jae Lee Jung. I absolutely loved the composition. It was such a perfect installment of music, and each little piece of the score fits so well with the situation. It's a movie that makes you think, it's a movie that makes you wonder about family life, it's a movie that makes you try and figure out what's the best way to go throughout life, how to devise a plan, just throw caution into the wind, what exactly do people actually do to survive. It was so creative and so innovative, and at some point in time, flat out zany. There were some moments where I found myself laughing, there were times where I really felt myself getting hit emotionally, there were moments where I was on the edge of my seat. It was the perfect package for a movie-going experience. Absolutely astounding. And I will definitely say that I would put it in my 5 best films of 2019, even though I would still say that Alita Battle Angel was the better movie, at least for me, just because of the experience that I got from that one. I loved it as well from a filmmaking perspective as well as a story. But this is definitely a movie that you should go see. Unfortunately, it's not a movie for young kids because there are definitely some major adult themes in this film, but if you are old enough to see this movie, I cannot recommend Parasite enough. Now, before I conclude this review, and as you can tell, I didn't really go into truly great many details because I really feel that this movie does not need to be given spoilers. You really should see this movie for yourself just to believe it. And also, I feel that someone, unlike myself and anyone else out there, can totally come out of this movie taking something completely different from the next person away from this film, and that's what makes it great. So I want to conclude by talking about the controversy that revolves around Parasite, and that's the fact that people are, for some strange reason, upset about the fact that the Best Picture of America in 2019 is a movie that is not made by Americans, as well as having subtitles. For me, I was a little bit nervous about the subtitles because I do have a small problem with subtitles, and that is the fact that I really want to make sure that I understand what's going on in the story, so my eyes really focus on the subtitles and not focus on everything that is actually going on in the film. So I miss the actual visuals. Not in the case of Parasite. The subtitles gave you enough time to read them. In the same time it takes you to actually see what's going on. I was in it all. I witnessed it all, and I walked away just extremely satisfied. So if your issue is because of the fact that this movie won over movies that were American or English-speaking made, maybe that gives us a lot of understanding as to what we need Hollywood to do. Maybe if Hollywood stopped focusing on the popcorn flicks, stopped focusing on remakes, reboots, rehashes, maybe stopped focusing on making sure that the driving force was identity politics and making sure that the movies were safe and tame for everyone, maybe if American-made and English-speaking films focused more on story, on character development, and on visual stimuli, as opposed to all of those things that have to be done for the sake of political correctness, maybe an English-speaking movie will win Best Picture again. But Parasite won it. Parasite deserves it, because there is nothing that is coming out of the United States that is as great and original as Parasite, because that's what makes a great movie. Not just a great theater-going experience, but a movie that is truly original and one that just captures your imagination and maybe even makes you think a little bit. I am definitely planning to see this movie again. I'm still on the fence about buying this film on DVD, merely because of the fact that I just don't think that it has extreme rewatchability, but for some little feeling in the back of my head, I feel that Parasite will be ending up in my collection because I feel I'm going to gain something more each and every time I watch it, which is why I am going to be giving Parasite 3.5 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Parasite, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.